Protector's Enclave needs your help.
Ah, adventurer. I was hoping you'd drop by. I have an interesting opportunity for you. The owner of the workshop down by the Seven Sons Coster Market is looking for someone new to run the place. A born leader. You'd be perfect for the job. And naturally, I told him as much. And that I'd send you over when I next saw you. Hear him out. You could always refuse.
Is this a joke? You can't do this to me!
The workshop's been losing money hand over fist since you took over. I'm sorry.
The shop's nothing without me!
It's nothing because of you. A master you may be, but you've no mind for leadership.
You can't lead the talentless to greatness! To hell's with you!
Ah, you must be the adventurer Sergeant Knox spoke of. You do look the part. I must admit I'm quite relieved. I would never have considered an adventurer for the job, but the sergeant just might be onto something. This workshop was once a sight to behold. Famed artisans filling commissions day in and day out. The amount of gold flowing through that door. Well, as you can see, those days are long gone. The workshop needs someone who can help return it to its former glory. It needs a leader.
Ah, so you're the one. Your retainer's already given me a list of what you need. I could scarce believe it when they told me Karmela was no longer running the shop. Forgive me. She was the last that ran the shop for a few years before you. Sharp as a knife, that one. For better or for worse. Right. So you have. Let me take a look at the goods. Aye, these will do nicely. You know, Karmela was just a wee lass when she started on at the workshop. She ran errands back then. Carried crates just like this one, almost as big as she was. Back and forth from here to the workshop, day in and day out. It's a shame she's gone. But I forget myself. You held up your end of the bargain, and I intend to hold up mine. I'll be by the workshop shortly with the supplies you requested.
Ah, adventurer. Excellent timing. I was just saying what a superlative job you've done cleaning up the place. I could scarce recall what the walls looked like under all that grime. Your artisans appear to be coming along nicely as well. It seems things are proceeding better than I had dared hope. Indeed, you seem to have a knack for this. While I'm here, is there anything you need? Oh, that's the kind of ambition I like to see. More storage space for deliveries, more room for artisans. It's possible, but it's not going to be cheap. If you're still interested, and I'm sure you are, I'll make the arrangements. It will take some time before the upgrade can be done. In the meantime, I'd say your artisans are making product worth buying. You should be selling anything you don't need at the auctions. I do, in fact. You're free, of course, to sell your goods to whomsoever you please, and when it comes time to upgrade the shop, if you'd prefer to pay directly, well, I won't stop you. But if dealing with the auctions yourself sounds tedious, introduce yourself to Lady Begum of the South Seas Trading Company. The company will be happy to buy on credit, put the sales in my name, and you can fill orders to pay for the upgrades. Tell her I sent you. I'm certain you'll find her down by the auctions.
You know the company does not employ artisans.
But you know how well my work sells.
My answer isn't going to change. I'm sorry. Find yourself a shop and I'll be happy to sell your wares.
I understand. Thank you for your time.
Perhaps you could not stand directly in front of me? Oh, you must be the adventurer he spoke of. What can I do for you? She was looking for work. Brilliant artisan. But we're a trading company, not a trade guild. It's a shame I won't be stocking her wares anytime soon. But there are other fish in the sea.
Need any materials? Karmela, huh? Poor lass. She's been on my mind as well, after what happened. I haven't seen her in ages, though, since around the time Master Farum went missing. Once she took over the shop, she didn't have much time for running errands. You'd have better luck asking someone who's seen the girl more recently than me, I'm afraid. Master Farum ran the workshop for years before Karmela took over. He was like a father to her. Took her in off the street, fed her and clothed her. He traveled often. One day word came that the ship he was on was lost at sea. Karmela didn't take it well. Who can blame her? I'd wager her retainer, Tress, ought to be able to answer your questions. She stopped coming by a few months before you first showed up. I hear the two had a falling out and she quit. She works at the bank now. Saw her just the other day.
Here to make a deposit? I'm Tress. Do I know you? Please leave. Fine, but not here. I'll be off soon and was planning to head to Brada's. Meet me there. A good pot of tea does wonders for the nerves. Chamomile. It's best with a bit of honey if you can get it, but it's not bad by itself. Very calming. You really cut to the chase, but I suppose your intentions are good. When Karmela hired me, even though Master Farum had already gone missing, the workshop was still in good order. But when it became clear he wasn't returning, a lot of the workshop's best artisans went their own way. Karmela took after Farum in technique, but she was young. She had nothing to teach them. There were plenty of artisans left, but the quality of the work dropped significantly. Master Farum had built a name for the workshop, and she was dragging his legacy through the mud. That's how she saw it anyway. Over time, she started filling every order herself, in a desperate attempt to live up to the workshop's reputation. The quality was there, but she's only one woman. Before we knew it, we were months behind on orders. By that point, there was hardly anyone else left in the shop. It went on like that for months. She never rested, and neither did I. The work was endless, every day and night, with no end in sight. Eventually, I had to refuse an order. We were just too far behind. She snapped, and we fought over it. She fired me, after years of grueling work. I never heard from her after that. Yes, well, it also feels like I've lifted a bit of the weight off my chest. Truthfully, it was a relief when she fired me, though it didn't feel like one at the time. I had run myself so ragged that it took me a few months to recover before I could look for new work. Hopefully, my story was of some use to you. I may not have seemed grateful at the time, but I appreciate your seeking me out. I heard the workshop's been hiring more artisans recently. I pray you can avoid our fate. Don't forget to take some time to relax. Tress.
You abandoned me, Tress. You abandoned me when I needed you most.
Karmela,
There's nothing left to say. Just go. What do you want? She betrayed me. You don't know what you're talking about. You weren't there. It's not just Tress. They all betrayed me. They betrayed Faram. And I don't care what you have to say about it. So, you really have gotten the place back up and running. Perhaps I underestimated you. The quality of the goods coming out of this workshop was a disgrace when you first took over. But things have improved. The quality is still far below where it was under Master Faram.
You couldn't be more right. But this adventurer is trying to do something about it. That's more than can be said of you.
I was just leaving.
Clement asking you to step down wasn't a mistake. Your leaving was.
Ah!
That girl still hasn't realized what she needs to do. Pity. But I didn't come for her. I came for you. I have good news and thought I would deliver it in person. You've continued to fill commissions, and now we're ready to hold up our end of the bargain. The supplies for the workshop's upgrade are here, and paid for in full on your credit.
I overheard your conversation with Karmela at the bar the other day. I wanted to thank you for what you said. But enough about that. I heard from Bolden that the workshop was getting a big upgrade and came by to congratulate you. Ah, adventurer, what are you doing here? Need to make a deposit? You want Karmela to come work for you? She's been struggling. It's a good idea. But given how your last conversation went, I'm not so sure she'll be easily convinced. I haven't fared any better. You should talk to someone who's known her longer than me. Ayrie and Dalish, they might know what to say. Ayrie is a seamstress who used to work at the shop, and Dalish was Master Farham's retainer. They've both known Karmela since she was a child. Dalish left shortly after I started, but I heard he went to Icewind Dale to fish. Lives in Caer Konig now. Ayrie is still in Neverwinter. I hear she frequents the Moonstone Mask. Good luck, adventurer.
Well, hello there, gorgeous. Take a seat. Why, yes, it is. I'm getting the distinct sense that you're not here to enjoy yourself, and that's a sad thing, friend. Oh dear, now I know where I recognize you from. You're that adventurer that's taken over running the workshop. Oh, you're serious? That girl is as stubborn as a troll, and I would know. She gets it from me. She was only 4, maybe 5 years old when Farham brought her into the workshop. She was a sorry little thing back then, but she didn't stay sorry. You'll need a miracle to convince her to work for you. Or you'll need to appeal to her ego, darling. She may have my stubbornness, but she has Farham's ego, whether she realizes it or not. Tell her the workshop needs her. My pleasure. Come back anytime.
Why do I have the feeling you're not here for a spot of fishing? Well, you found it. I haven't had a visitor since I moved up here. What brings you all the way to Kerkonig? I see. Ayrie writes me on occasion, so I'd heard a bit of what happened. Things were still fine at the workshop when I left, but I heard that our most experienced artisans left in the months afterward. I'm old, you see. I'd have left when I did, even if Master Farum had been with us. Hells, I'd probably have left sooner if Farum hadn't gone and gotten himself killed. When a man gets towards the end of his life, he just wants to fish. Or at least, I do. But the rest of them, most of them anyway, they'd have left to find room to grow. Not that they were right. They'd have had plenty of chances to grow helping that girl out. Farum was like a father to Karmela, except that she knew he didn't have to be. He chose to take her in off the street. The love she felt for him was even stronger than family. She feels responsible for what happened to the workshop. Feels like she tarnished Farum's legacy. But the workshop wasn't always so great, even under Farum. Of course not. Nothing starts great. Some disaster or another had just torn through Neverwinter when Farum and I arrived in the city. That workshop was just a pile of rubble back then. The owner of that pile of rubble, Clement, had a workshop built there and asked Farum to run the place. Farum was much older and much more skilled than Karmela then, and still he struggled. A man's legacy isn't just one moment. Farum's work and the work of his artisans still lives on in the goods they produce. What I'm saying is, you need to make that girl understand that she hasn't ruined Farum's legacy. She doesn't need to honor her father's legacy. She needs to walk her own path and build her own legacy. That's what he would have wanted for her. Deep down, she knows it. No, thank you for coming all the way out here and taking an old man's advice. I ought to have told her those things myself.
Barkeep, another round, please. Yeah, I know you're there, adventurer. Here to rake me over the coals like Begum? Needs me? I think it's quite clear that it's the opposite. I can't teach anyone. All I can do is work, and right now, I can't even do that. They all left, one by one, each time twisting the dagger deeper into his back. Maybe not. But I can't go back now. I don't deserve to. I threw away everything that he gave me. How would you know what he wanted? Dalish. That old fool. You've really gone out of your way, adventurer. I'll think about it. But right now, either leave or shut up and drink. All right, adventurer. I'm in. You sure can hold your liquor. I'm still a little blurry, but let's head back to the workshop. What do you say we head inside?
I can't believe it! She's really back? Thank you, adventurer.
Good work, adventurer. Karmela being back in the workshop's the way things ought to be. You've done a good thing.
I might seem to be the villain in this story, but I tried to convince Karmela to stay and work as an artisan. I couldn't be happier that she's back.
What did I tell you, adventurer? Flattery works every time. Two is better than one, my dear. In the end, though, truly, you deserve the credit. Thank you for bringing her back. I hadn't realized how far gone she was.
Well, I'll be. I knew you were a dab hand at running a workshop, but I never expected to see that girl back where she belongs. You surprise me, adventurer. I don't know what you're talking about. I'll just be glad to sell her wares again.
Honestly, way too much. I have a sneaking suspicion who is, but thank you, adventurer. What is it that you think I do, by the way? Since you seem to know so much about me. You're right, but I suppose you would know by now. I look forward to working with you. It's time to build a new legacy.